Hello, everybody. Welcome back to English Champion. On this episode, I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning up front here that I'm going to talk about something that I constantly talk about. All right. So if you're sick of hearing me talk about higher education and how parents and students and schools can align better, which is what I talk about in many episodes. If that's not something you're interested in, that's fine. You can click off right now. That's not a problem. But this topic is so important to me, and I saw a tiny glimmer of hope from one person this week that I thought I would share with you. And so I'm going to approach this same topic in a slightly different way to give you a different perspective on it and to make it a little more interesting. But just beware, this is something I've said before, and I'm going to say it again. But there is going to be a little twist on it, so I hope you stick around. So the thing I care about most as a professional in the world of education, as a professor for many, many years, and devoting my life to higher education, is seeing young people in the right place for them. And then being a part of a university, an institution, where what the school is offering and what the school believes in is what the students actually want. And there's no miscommunication between who the school is and who the student is and what they both want out of this relationship. And ideally, what they should want is the best form of education, real education, not just job training, but real education. And so that's what I care about. I want to make sure that those two things match. And so that's why I talk about it so much. And I came across a post the other day that I thought, ooh, we're finally, maybe somebody else is kind of echoing what I've been saying. And there's some points of agreement here. And so maybe this can be a way that we can start shifting the culture of higher ed at least a little bit. And so I want to share this quick post with you and then go through some of the comments below. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there were quite a few responses that agreed with this post, as I did. However, there's some nuance here that does need to be improved. And so what I'm going to explain is where this guy is right, because that's positive, but also how he doesn't go far enough. And I'm hoping that some people take this idea and push it even further, because until that happens, it's actually not going to change. Even though you might be offering good ideas here, nothing's going to happen. So let me share what's good about this, and then I'll point out where he doesn't quite go all the way with it, and then some of the good things that were said in the comments, as well as some things that just aren't quite right. So this guy starts by saying, unpopular opinion. Student engagement is overrated. I was like, okay, I'm listening. Yep, this is true. All the stuff about engagement on college campuses is way overblown, and universities are spending who knows how much money in desperate attempts to get students engaged instead of focusing on what they should be focusing on. And it's the reason why is because you've brought in students that require engagement when you shouldn't. If students aren't already engaged, they're not a good fit for your place. And I'll talk about that as we go. He says, we've been aiming at the wrong target. Student engagement is not the goal. It's the byproduct. Definitely right. All right, so I'm certainly on board at this point. The real goal, he says, creating a campus culture where students take ownership of their journey, where they don't just attend college, but shape it, own it, and see themselves reflected in the community around them. It's like, all right, yes, I'm going to agree in principle with that. We're starting to move towards some cliches here and some platitudes, so I'm not thrilled about that. But okay, let's assume that what you're saying is right and that we want the students to shape their own experience. That I'm on board with. He says, here's the hard truth. No amount of pizza parties, giveaways, or Instagrammable moments will fix their experience. So far I'm on board with him. That's true. Stop with the superficial stuff like, oh, let's do this thing so we can post it on Instagram. Let's have a pizza party so that we get kids to this thing. Yeah, they're not there for the thing. They're there for the pizza. And so that stuff is dumb. So none of that matters if a student feels invisible. Okay, now we're moving towards the platitudes and cliches. It's like, well, maybe students want to feel invisible. It doesn't mean they're not engaged. Some students go to a giant 60,000 student university because they want to be invisible. They just want to blend in. They love the school. They like the academics. They like their classes. They like the studying. They just don't need to be involved in every single thing. They actually like the anonymity part of being at a giant university. So just saying, well, students don't want to feel invisible. Well, it depends on the student. So you got to find the right student. So while again, in principle, we might agree with this statement that every kid, wants to be a part of things. Yeah, maybe, but it depends on the school and depends on the student. Those things don't matter if they feel like their voice doesn't matter. Maybe. It depends on how they're using their voices and what they have to say, but okay. Those things don't matter if college feels like something happening to them instead of something they're building. Now, that's definitely true. I talk about this all the time. I've written articles about it that too many people in general, but especially young people, constantly feel like the world is happening to them. Their education is happening to them. Their job happens to them. Whatever it is they're involved in, like it's like they have no control of their own lives and the choices they make. So that part is true, that they need to take ownership of their own experience. That the kid says, look, I want to go to college. I want to go to that college, and I'm going to make my experience what I want it to be. That's great. That is what should be happening. That's not completely up to the school to provide that. That's on the kid. So he's right about that. I'm on board with him. He says we need less energy spent on event calendars and more on fostering spaces where students feel seen, known, and valued. Okay, yes, I really like his idea about spending less energy on event calendars, because that's what schools do. They're like, well, if we just promote enough events and have enough activities, then the kids will like it here and they'll want to stay. It's like, that's not how it works. Kids don't care how many activities you have, okay? So yes, less focus on that. More on fostering spaces where students feel seen, known, and valued. All right, we have to stop with the language of feeling seen. That's something that other people are going to comment about. And the reason I love my wife is she hates that phrase, as do I, and so she constantly makes fun of it, as she should. And so we just joke about whenever people on television or people online talk about feeling seen. Like, that's what desperate women who can't get a date say. I just want to feel seen. Like, stop it with the scene. Make yourself valuable. Stop worrying about being seen by other people and do what you want to do. You take ownership of your life. Stop worrying about being seen. So I really don't like that little... It's become a cliche now because everyone talks about feeling seen. Again, that's not the goal. The goal isn't to feel seen. The goal is to take ownership of your own life and your own education. So he says, let's design experiences that form identity, not just fill time. Okay, so here's where it gets into a little bit of a problem. He's contrasting the student engagement folks who are constantly like, we got to do all these things on our campus. And the administrators are like, have more stuff so that we can retain them. And so the engagement people would agree with this list. When he says let's, who's let's? Who's the we in this? The administration? Well, you're part of it. So you're all in agreement here. The student engagement folks who think we have to be doing stuff all the time for these kids to hope that they like us and want to stay at our school, they would say the same thing. Let's design experiences that form identity, not just fill time. Yeah, that's what they're doing too. Let's stop chasing attendance numbers. Now that's a good idea. That's what I say all the time. So yes, this dude is right. Now, here's the question though. Does this gentleman have the guts to go to his bosses in the administration and say, stop chasing attendance numbers. Stop bringing in kids who don't belong here. Let's cap our enrollment. Shoot, let's reduce our enrollment so that we can take what we have and make it stronger instead of continuing to grow and dilute our product and have all of our services thinned out among these thousands of students who, many of whom don't actually want to be here. So this is great. I would love it if this is more than just a social media post. When you say, let's stop chasing attendance. Yeah, take it to your bosses. Put it on the table and say, hey, vice presidents and president who think growth is the biggest thing we have to be worried about, let's stop doing that. Let's focus on quality, because if we focus on quality, the attendance will take care of itself. So this is right. I would love to know if he has the guts to go further with it and actually tell his bosses about this. Now back to the engagement stuff though. Let's start cultivating purpose-driven connection. Yeah, that's all good, except that's what the engagement people will say too. Let's equip students with agency. Okay, so let's equip students with agency. How about go find students who already have agency? Then you don't have to worry about it. So when you say, you're still putting yourself in the equation. You still have to engage people in order to equip them. So it's like, what if you just skipped that and said, we're going to go find and recruit the students who already have a sense of agency and who actually care about their own education? So then I don't have to constantly be chasing them around wondering if they're equipped enough. I can just provide my normal education and the normal opportunities that all professors and staff on campus already do. And I don't have to worry about all this engagement stuff because guess what? They're already engaged. Go find those kids first. Then this won't be a problem. Let's surround them with mentors. Good, that's true. The best mentors, as people will say below, professors. Yeah, find the best professors, pay them well, pay them to be mentors to these kids. And again, the engagement will take care of itself. Let's anchor them in a mission-driven sense of belonging. Okay, again, if you find the right kids, they already believe that. So you don't have to anchor them. They already chose you. So again, this is also what the engagement people would say is, well, all I'm doing when I throw this pizza party and when I host this student life activity is I'm anchoring them in our mission. It's like, yeah, that's nice. I'm glad you're doing that. But how much money did that cost? How much time did it cost? Did it actually yield any real fruit? Or are you spending all that time and energy just trying to convince people who didn't really like your mission anyway that they should like your mission? Whereas what you could do instead is go find people who actually like your mission. Problem solved. So then he finishes his quick post here with, what's one moment from your college years where you felt you owned your experience, where you felt truly known and valued? So I'll answer it. I felt most engaged with my school, and I went to a small school. I actually went to a school that's almost identical to this school that this gentleman works at. So these are very comparable. And so I assume he's probably talking mostly about these types of schools. Maybe he's talking about giant universities, I don't know. But this is a small private school, and I went to a school that is a direct competitor of this school. So I know his experience, and I can tell you my experience, and it's going to be what a lot of people who go to his school would probably say. My experience was most shaped from an engagement standpoint by my professors and my sports team, because we were the best team in the country, and so that was kind of valuable, and my friends. None of the things I remember about the real fun and enjoyment and maximal educational experience I had about my college years, none of it has to do with any sort of student life situation. None of it. And I knew those folks, and I liked them. They were fun and nice, and I respected them, and I believe in having those positions on campus. But let me be very clear. None of that is what I think back on when I think fondly of my college years. I think of my friends because we would do stuff on our own. We didn't need the school to engage us. We just did stuff. I had a lot of great buddies, and we were all similar in values, and we are all similar in our goals for what we wanted our education to be. That's why we chose our school. So we already solved that engagement problem by going to that school and then finding each other. And sometimes it happened by accident because, the school just randomly put people on a certain dorm floor, and so you just kind of get to know each other. Other times it was on purpose, either through the team we were on or just, we chose to live with certain roommates, or we chose to hang out with those people from our classes. Like, we just found each other, and we just had fun. We did stuff all the time. And again, none of it had to do with student life. We hosted little events. We got to be known on our campus. This sounds a bit arrogant, but it was just the reality, and it was kind of fun. Where, for whatever reason, the guys on my floor, me and about 15 other guys, we got to be known as the cool guys on campus. And we weren't necessarily cool guys. What was funny, though, is we'd invite these people, and we'd say, hey, we're doing this thing on our floor on Friday night or whatever. You should come by. And a lot of times we'd invite girls because that's what guys do. And the girls, even if we didn't notice, they go, oh, you guys are the cool guys on that floor in that building, right? And I was like, yeah, that's us. And we'd say, what do you mean cool guys? What does that mean? And she goes, well, you guys do stuff, and that's cool. So we became known as cool guys, even though we weren't cool. We were just regular students because we just did stuff, and we invited people, and we didn't do anything crazy. We weren't doing anything, illicit or anything. We just liked having fun. And so we just organized little events on our own. One year we called it the Taste of Third Floor, because our room and our friends were all on the third floor of this small building. And so what we did is we had 4 rooms, and each room was a different type of food. And so there was like an appetizer room and a main course room and like a side room and a dessert room. And so we'd invite people and they would kind of walk through the rooms, and we all made all sorts of dishes. So each room had 4 or 5, different pans full of stuff, and we're like serving people, and they get to try, like, it's just sampling all of our food. And like, people loved it. They thought it was the coolest thing ever, especially the girls, because all these guys are cooking for them. I mean, it was great. And so, we did that, and we had music playing. And so we had, on our tiny little floor with 4 tiny apartments, we had hundreds of people all flooding in and wanting to enjoy our space because we just did stuff. We would host Christmas parties. There was like karaoke stuff we did. I mean, we just did all sorts of fun stuff. So when you have the right people who wanted to go to the right campus, they engaged themselves. We didn't have to worry about that. So, and it wasn't just us, even though we were the cool guys. Like, we knew other people were doing that stuff too, and people were engaged with their little friend groups too. We didn't care about it, but we had I knew groups of people who got together for like video game nights, and they would all sit in a big room and play video games. My guys, we would host like Saturday afternoon or Monday night football little parties where we just invite a bunch of people over. We had tons of snacks, and we were there to just watch a football game, in our dorm rooms. We'd invite people from the other dorms, like, hey, come out and come over, hang out with us. And so we did, little stuff, big stuff. We just did all sorts of fun things. And that's what I remember back about my college experience from the social life standpoint anyway, was my buddies and I, we didn't need anyone to engage us. We were engaged because we went to the right school. We knew the school was right for us. We were right for each other because we know by going to that school, we all had shared values. And so we kind of already got along with each other. And so we just were like, hey, let's do something fun. And so we did. It's not hard. Find the right kids and they'll take care of the engagement for you. The other parts that are kind of offered by the school, like your sports teams and stuff like that. Again, I happen to be a part of a really good basketball team, and we had other teams. We had a really good volleyball team. Our track and field team started to get a lot better. We had a good soccer team, good baseball team. So, I mean, students would flood to those games. Again, we were the best team in the country, national championship team. And so, like, there were never any signs around campus like, hey, please come support, get engaged by coming to the ball game this Saturday afternoon. It's like, no, everyone in the community was there. All the students were in the gym on Saturday night. Like, you didn't need to engage them. The team engaged them. How did we do that? Because we were really good. Excellence is what engages people. All right, people want to be part of excellent things. Yeah, you can get them there with your little pizza party. You can get them there with your little student life activity, but do something excellent. That's how you get kids involved. Something else that was excellent wasn't just sports on our campus, was we had really, really good music and arts programs. So again, most of the school would swarm to our auditorium to watch whatever that year's musical was. One year they're doing West Side Story, because one of my buddies was in it. They did. I think they did Oklahoma one year, like whatever it was. They did all sorts of stuff, or just regular dramas. They did all sorts of fun plays. And again, I had friends who were in several of those productions. So me and all my buddies were like, hey, let's go support so and so. And so we'd all go to the play that night, or go to the musical that semester. Or the recitals. I had friends who were musicians, and so we'd all go listen to the music because they're really talented. Like, excellence creates engagement. Many schools are trying to create engagement without excellence, and that's the problem. If you have excellent people doing excellent things, you don't have to worry about any of this the engagement stuff. It takes care of itself. And then lastly, from an academic standpoint, so that's social stuff. There's like the large organized things like sports, like the arts and music and all that stuff. But from an academic standpoint, I felt most valued and just most interested in my own education because I had professors who either they were doing interesting research projects and they would involve you in it, or on our campus, we didn't have advisors who organized your stuff for you. Your advisor for your course scheduling was your professor, one of your professors from your department. So every single semester, you're going in to meet in office hours with your professor to talk about your career goals, talk about anything in your personal life, that you're trying to get organized, or something you're struggling with. The professor was there to help. And then, let's figure out what classes are going to be best for you to, develop the skill sets that you need and the knowledge background that you need. So all of that was done in a mentorship with the actual professors. Whereas too many schools, they shove all their kids into these advising systems where there is no real human relationship because they're just trying to shuffle you through and they're just trying to go through a check sheet and get you registered for class as fast as possible. Well, that's not how it was on my campus. It was you go and meet with your professor and he or she sits down with you and goes through where you are in your 4-year sequence and talks about how things are going and maybe what they would like to see you improve on and what you could do better to get more out of your education. That's the mentorship that he kind of mentioned there. And that's how it was on my campus. And so it was not only for academic things, but also for personal things. Like we had mentors, and it wasn't always professors in this case, where it was sometimes staff people that you met with and you again talked about if you were struggling with anything. It was kind of just someone to hang out with and again check up how you're doing and hold you accountable for things if you were struggling with something. You're falling behind in your schoolwork. Maybe they might say, hey, come meet with me next week. Let's get yourself organized and I'll help you figure out a plan for getting your semester on track. It was kind of helping you in a variety of ways, but that was all done one-on-one. There didn't need to be these giant events to make people feel engaged. Like people cared about you, and usually it was your professors. So that's what it always comes down to, and that's what some of the comments below are gonna talk about is the relationships with their professors. Yeah, that's what matters the most, and yet administrators do everything they can to not include professors in this process. They're like, well, let's hire more staff. Let's hire more student life people. Let's hire more engagement people. Let's hire more retention team people. It's like, yeah, if you hired better professors and gave them the autonomy and the responsibility to develop these engagement things with their own students, many of them would do it. And then the students would like it. And then you wouldn't need to spend all that money and time on all the other engagement stuff because the teachers probably would do it on their own and the students would really like it. So from my experience, when he asked, what are your moments from your college years? Well, those were mine. Mentorship by my professors in a one-on-one personal relationship. Being a part of the larger stuff on campus, like sports, like the arts, that's certainly part of it. And then my friends, my buddies and I didn't need anyone to engage us. We were engaged. So yeah, he's right. Let's stop focusing on the engagement and maybe let's start focusing on just getting students who want to engage themselves. Maybe that might be the best answer. So few responses. As one lady said, well, it is easier to buy pizza than to change your behavior. And that's exactly right. The change would need to be, let's find better students who actually like what we're doing at our school missionally and academically, because that's the most important part. And then they'll want to stay on their own. You don't need to be persuading them constantly. It's like I said in my other video where I went into great depth about this, that I encourage everyone to go watch, because I lay out, here's how you get students to care about your campus. And I said the analogy is, it's like a marriage, okay? I don't need to constantly be engaged with my wife because I chose her. She chose me. We're already committed to one another. And the engagement happens on my part because I like her and I want to be with her. I'm not going to leave her. So I don't need the constant, is she engaging me enough? Am I engaging her enough? No, like, I don't need someone to come in and tell me. I don't need an engagement and retention supervisor to tell me how to be married to my wife. No, I chose her. So it's the same thing with the school. When the kids choose the school because of how great it is, and the school chooses the kid because of how great he is or she is, they're already engaged. They'll want to further the engagement on their own. You don't need someone from the outside saying, well, let's set up this program and this system and create these engagement opportunities. No, they'll just do it naturally because they already like each other. That's how it goes. That's how it was for me and my friends. I didn't need any student life person to come tell me to come join an activity. We generated our own activities. This person said, working with my professors one-on-one mattered more to me and my life trajectory than anything else I did in higher education. When I hit roadblocks and challenges, they were there to advise, support me and make me laugh. Yeah, that's called mentorship. That's what good professors already do. I did that as a professor for my years. And yeah, that's what kids care about. They care about the connection with their teacher. So this guy, he kind of wants it both ways. He says, I agree 100%, but I propose a different perspective. He says, student engagement is critical, but we've been doing it for the wrong reasons. He's quoting the other person. I think student engagement can be seen as both the action and the outcome. To your point, the efficacy of student engagement isn't measured by number of events or attendance, but whether we are creating an environment that provides students with the opportunities, experiences, and support in all aspects of their academic and personal development, so that their engagement and our engagement with them has purpose and impact. Again, you want the school to be doing all of that. And to a certain degree, yeah, the school is the one that provides the sports team. Yeah, the school provides the classes. Like, yeah, the school already does all that stuff. The school doesn't need to be doing that much more. Again, find the right kids. They'll do it themselves, providing students with the opportunities, experiences, and support. So here's an example of the school providing an opportunity, okay? Except it's not the school, it's professor. So as a good teacher, one thing I did was, and many other my colleagues did, I know all sorts of people who do this at their universities, is I started a club for my students. Doesn't have to be just my students. Doesn't even have to just be my majors. Anyone was welcome. But I started a literature and creative writing club because I noticed over my years, I was like, oh, there's a lot of students who have some talent who kind of like talking about books outside of class, who like doing creative writing outside of class. Like, let's offer them another opportunity. I didn't need the school to tell me, hey, Dr. Spivey, you need to be offering these extracurricular activities to engage students. No, I just did it myself because it's fun for me. And I want to see kids keep developing on their own outside of the classroom. So I just did it. And the kids who came, they just did it. I didn't need the school to create opportunities for these experiences and support. I just did it. And all sorts of professors all over the country do that. So the thinking that, again, we need these administrators to then go around telling each department, you need to do this to increase engagement. You need to do this so that we can improve our retention numbers. Yeah, when you hire the right people, they do it automatically. And when you find the right students, they do it automatically. So this guy kind of wants it both ways. Like, he agrees, but he's also like, but the school needs to be doing all these things. Like, no, they don't. They just don't. People, individual people will do it for you if you find the right people. This person is a current student, and he joined student government, where he felt like he owned his own experience. And yeah, he got involved with talking to people, writing resolutions that got voted on by the campus, working with students, faculty, staff, and university administrators as a student senator to develop initiatives such as expanding various options on campus, all that stuff. Yeah, that's great. This kid, because he's the right type of kid, he's like, you know what? I want to be in charge of stuff. I want to have my voice heard. So I'm just going to get involved. So he did. So student government is, again, already something that schools have. That's not something new that you need to offer to increase engagement. This is already part of every university. It's just up to the kid. And this kid sounds like he's a go-getter. And that's the kind of kid you want on your campus. Go find more of these kinds of kids, and you won't have to spend so much time on your retention and engagement strategies. This kid sounds sharp. This lady says, with educational shifts becoming more prominent, it's going to be more challenging for educational institutions to attract students to be involved with the past ideals of community. Maybe, unless you find the right type of kids, then they definitely want to be involved in the ideals of the community. The importance of a school's intention on creating community and culture will be vital in maintaining in-person learning. Yes, in person. It's so funny when all these people are like, we need to increase engagement, and then you shove them all into online classes where they never talk to one another. It's just crazy. You want to increase engagement? Have an on-campus experience. Stop with the online nonsense. It's such a waste. So she's right about that. So yeah, in-person learning, a sense of belonging, nurturing lifelong relationships with peers, and school support for longevity, both socially and financially. Yeah, that's all true. Again, that stuff already exists. So we don't need more engagement methods to do that. Those at good schools with good teachers and good students, they create all of that for themselves. They can make friends on their own because they already know that if I came here for a specific reason and I know that the school only wants kids who come here for that specific reason, well, automatically I know all the kids there are there for the same reason I am. So I already have a bond with them. I already want to be friends with them, and I already want to do fun stuff with them. The engagement takes care of itself. It's that easy. Someone said, yes, this is a shift higher ed needs to embrace. Yeah, definitely. Exactly right. If only they have the guts. So all the people who are agreeing, have the guts to go to your administration and say, let's stop letting in every single kid. Let's stop chasing enrollment metrics. Let's get good students who actually care about our school, who will engage themselves and retain themselves and graduate themselves. And then we don't have to spend all this time and money hiring all these extra staffers and administrators to oversee engagement and retention. So, yep, good point. This is the shift that it needs for sure. Buy-in and ownership from students is so much more possible if staff and faculty have buy-in and ownership as well. That's true. And again, those of us who are good faculty, we do this on our own. It is difficult, however, when you have an administration that doesn't support you in that, or takes those things away from you. Again, I used to do, I not only did I build my own club for students out of, you know, on my own, just my own interest and free time, I also did all the advising for my students. So when the schools, though, take those responsibilities or, pleasures, because those things are fun for me as a good teacher. When you take those out of the teacher's hands and say, "Oh, we're just gonna have this staffer do it," it's like, okay, well, that's making the faculty start to withdraw. And when you don't listen to the faculty, and because the faculty are the ones who actually create these best relationships, as people are mentioning here, then yeah, they're going to not want to do it as much. So encourage the faculty to take on this initiative, and support them in that, and then you won't have to create these other engagement opportunities outside of that, because they'll already do it. So yeah, support your faculty and staff. That would be great. Stop hiring more administration to just oversee things. Just hire the right people to actually do stuff. This person makes a good point. This might be a deeper conversation. He says, you're exactly right. It's like the self-esteem movement that happened in education decades ago, which is a byproduct, but not the goal. In fact, chasing engagement as the goal versus creating an ecosystem that cultivates and accelerates an engagement can have unintended negative consequences, just like chasing self-esteem did, which created a culture of arrogance and fixed mindsets. So this is a good point. Again, this is a deeper question, but it's exactly right. If your whole goal is engagement, well then guess what the students are going to do? They're going to just sit there and go, engage me, entertain me. It's up to you to provide these events for me to go to if I want to find, if I want to be interested in staying at this school. It's up to you to convince me to stay. So you have to engage me. It's exactly right. You think you're doing a good thing by engaging them, when there could be negative unintended consequences where actually they now demand more engagement, which makes them less engaged, because now they're just waiting for you to engage them. And if you do it and they like it, okay, it works. But you could spend all your time and money engaging students, and if they don't like it, they're going to leave anyway. Well, what was the point of all that? Well, the point is you picked the wrong students to bring to your school. That's the problem. You focused on making them feel good, making them feel like they belong, making them feel engaged. It's like, how about you find kids who are already engaged, and then who already have that sense of self-esteem? Like, yeah, I don't need, which is how it was with me and my buddies. Yeah, I didn't need the school to fawn over me and dote over me and say, "Are you happy? Will you please stay? Are you engaged in our school and our activities?" Like, no, we had the confidence and self-esteem ourselves to just be like, yeah, we're just going to do stuff that's fun, and we're going to include all of our friends. We're going to invite people, and we're going to be great and do cool stuff. And chase in the academic world, and in our extracurriculars, we're gonna chase excellence, because that's what we care about. We care about excellence and creating our own sense of fun. So we don't need the school to be involved in that. We'll just take care of it. Yeah, that's the ownership part that these people are talking about. So comparing it to the self-esteem movement is an interesting comparison, and it's true. You're just feeding the kids' egos even more, because they know now, oh well, they'll come engage me. I don't have to actually do anything. It's up to them to engage me. Well, that's not the kind of relationship you want. Kind of sad. This person was in an online school, so it makes sense that she says this, but she goes, well, it's a statement that having worked through an associate, bachelor's, master's, and finally a doctorate, that I never had a moment that I can point to and scream, this is mine and what I've done matters. Just do what's required. Yeah, that's very sad. And she has an EDD from an online school. So yeah, you weren't involved in stuff probably. So that's what happens when we take the in-person bonding experience out of school and finding the right kids for the right school, and we just shuffle kids through that are just there to, I just need this new degree. I just need the diploma so I can get a job. I'm just going through the checklist on my career path. Well, yeah, they're not engaged. And so she says, yeah, I never was in any situation where I felt like this is mine and what I've done matters. So she got all these degrees and none of them mattered. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when you have an education environment like that, where it's all online and it's just a checklist for certification. Yeah, I'm thankful I never felt like that. When I was in school, I felt like this is great. What I'm doing here matters. My friends matter. My basketball team matters that I play on. My professors matter. They care that I matter. Yeah, it was a way better experience. I feel sad for this lady at her online university. Great perspective, buy-in, and ownership of one's journey is crucial for their success and overall happiness at every stage of life. Yeah, that's the theme of all of life. Like, stop waiting around for other people to engage you. You get engaged. You do it. You show initiative. So that's the irony of like the first point that he made was, well, we need to create agency for the kids. Like, no, they should already have agency, especially at the university. It's trickier from K through 12 because they're forced to be there. But at the university level, you chose to go to college. You chose to go to that college. So you already have agency. You don't need the school to provide you with more agency. Use the agency you already have to then shape your own life, shape your own education, shape your own social relationships. Get involved and do something. After all, you already chose the school. So what are you waiting around for? So he's exactly right. Buying an ownership of one's own journey is crucial for success in all of life. It's exactly right. This person kind of agrees with that. You're describing the difference between the actions of the student and the actions of the university, persistence versus retention. Both are important, but the student's drive, in my opinion, is most important. The university can work to lower unnecessary hurdles, but there's only so much they can do. Learning is hard work, or at least it should be. The student is the one that must see the value in the hard work and be willing to exert the effort necessary to achieve the reward. Exactly. It's totally right. We're saying, the school is constantly saying, what can we do for you? What can I do to engage you more? It's like, yeah, we let you in here. It's up to you now to do it. So here's all the opportunities. Do it. Stop waiting for other people to shape your life for you. It's what I've said in my previous video, which again, go watch my video on retention and engagement, where it's like going to a gym. These people who are all about engagement are kind of like, we allow people we allow people to sign up for our gym. And then you have trainers walking around with them every day going, hey, is everything okay? Hey, what else can I do for you? Hey, 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 hey. And expecting that is what is going to give people big muscles and cardio endurance. It's like, no, at some point you got to get on the treadmill. At some point you got to pick up the weight and lift it. We've given you the opportunity. We gave you a gym. Here's the gym. Ask us any question you want. We're here for you. But ultimately, you have to do it. It's not up to us to get you engaged. Like, you came in the building because it sounded like you thought you wanted to get in shape. So we've provided the engagement opportunity already for you. The engagement really happens when you decide to get on that bench press and start lifting the weight. So that's what college is. We let you in the door. You've paid your fee because we provide all these opportunities for you. But you have to choose your engagement. Stop waiting around for other people to host pizza parties to get you engaged. You do it. You start something. You go talk to your professor. You work on a research project in your department. You join a team or a club. You do it. It's already available for you. We don't need more engagement. So exactly right. It's up to the student. So this person says, even with the best intentions and environment, we won't be able to create a 100% positive experience for every student, and that's okay. That's true. Yeah, again, it doesn't... You can do everything in your power. You can spend infinite amounts of money on retention and engagement. And ultimately, the student's going to do what he's going to do. It's up to the student. And so all of that could be for nothing when the student's going to walk away anyway. Because guess what? It's not that they weren't engaged with what you were offering. It's because they didn't care in the first place. They didn't care about your school. They didn't care about education in general. Whatever it is, it's on them. It's their choice to get engaged. And they didn't want to. So first part of his answer is right. You're never going to make everyone happy all the time. And yet that's what administrators constantly spend all their money on is how can we retain every student? What can we do? What can we do? It's like, it's up to the kid. We're already doing what we offer. The good professors are already doing the best they can. So yeah, it's up to the kids. Then he says, what matters is that we keep striving to create a culture where more students feel seen, empowered, and invited to take ownership of their journey. Yeah, you got seen when you got admitted to the school. That was being seen. So now that you're here, you don't need to feel seen anymore. You just need to do stuff. That's how that works. You are empowered. You can do whatever you want. If you want to start a club, start it. You want to throw a party, do it. You want to join some program, switch majors, do it. You want to go talk to a professor, do it. He's in his office right now. Go talk to him. You're already empowered. The student can do anything. What are you waiting around for? I need someone to empower me. No, you don't. You're on a campus. You're empowered already. Get to it. Wasn't just once, it was a pattern where my professors took me and my questions seriously. Yeah, exactly. It's about the professors. When the professors do a good job, they're one very important element. I'm not going to say they're everything, but they're the most important element of your campus. Unfortunately, administrators don't treat them that way. So find the best professors, and they will take care of these problems for the most part for you. This person says some good things here. He says, I think most people understand that motivation to do anything is an internal struggle. I agree with your statement. We shouldn't need to dangle a carrot to get engagement. It's only sustainable while the carrot remains. It's not, if it's not genuine, it's a seal performance. It's a funny phrase. Ownership should need no other external inducement. I agree that providing the environment, relevance, and context for a child enables them to take that ownership. From that point forward, there ceases to be a need for the teachers and coaches to continually prod the child to take ownership. They will want it. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Like, if you find the right people and provide the right opportunity, which is what their education is. The education is the opportunity. You don't need to keep going, are you engaged? Please be engaged with us. We want you to stay. Are you happy? Don't need to do that. Find the right kid. Hire the right people. That's all you got to do. Another person saying seen. It's often these people with who are all in administration and that talk about seen. Like, it's not actual teachers, weirdly. Implementation needs to go beyond activities. Every interaction with a student, from billing to classroom and everything else, is an opportunity to make someone feel valued and seen. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we shouldn't just shuffle kids through and treat them like they're anonymous. But again, you're also catering to self-esteem there, which is what one of the previous posts criticized. So you got to be careful of that. Developing faculty that are curious and can pass curiosity to students is an important part of establishing this. Yep, exactly right. Yeah, find the right faculty who want to do this. Because again, that's what I did for all my years and worked great. I had students who really enjoyed the things that we did together. So yeah, find the good faculty who want to do this, and then you won't have to worry about it. This person was critical that he didn't like that the initial post talked about it being overrated. He was part of Belong groups, and he thought that really helped foster that student engagement environment. Maybe the pizza parties and the Instagrammable moments feel simple, but at times those are the most meaningful aspects of belonging. They're not the most meaningful. They're a way of feeling like you belong, but those aren't the most meaningful. The meaningful things will happen with professors. They'll happen with things they volunteer for, not things that are like dangled in front of them like a carrot. Like, here, come to this meeting and we'll give you pizza. Like, I never did that when I was hosting any event. I never offered food to like convince people to come. It was like, if you come, great. And then maybe once you're here, maybe then I'll break out some cookies and snacks and stuff. But I never said, come here, we're having pizza. Because then all you get are the kids who just want to come there for the pizza and then they leave. So this person's young. He's thinking, these are they're not meaningful. You can do them, that's fine. But don't be confused that those are meaningful, because they're just not. The things the kids do themselves, the kids that kids choose to be a part of, and then the kids' relationship with the professors. Those are the three things that will provide meaning for those kids, not your pizza party, not your posts on Instagram. No one cares about that stuff. This person took a very active role in engaging with his professors. So again, this kid did it on his own. He would email them and say, here's what I'd like to improve this week. And then the professors would reply, yeah, that's how you build a relationship with a professor. That's great. Good job. One more excellent example, or two more. My most memorable experience was supporting research. I had fantastic professors and can remember setting up various experiments after hours in preparation for class labs. I remember feeling like a true partner in those setups, conversations about the theories we were aiming to cover, feeling like a true scholar. That's where belonging took root for me. Yeah, exactly. Because you feel like you're part of something excellent. That's the whole point. Excellence drives this. And then good relationships with your professors. So yeah, when either you ask to be a part of it, or what good professors do is they'll invite you. They'll be like, I used to do this with students all the time, where I'd say, hey, you're pretty bright. I'm working on this project. I'm doing some writing. Do you want to help me with this? It seems like you'd be really good at this. Do you want to join me? And they'd go, heck yeah, that sounds awesome. And we'd work on a project together, and we'd either present it to people, or it'd be part of a research project he or she was doing, or a project I was doing, and we'd kind of help each other with it. Like, yeah, that's how you get kids engaged and to care about their future, is you have them help the professors in doing really cool stuff, not frivolous pizza party stuff, not frivolous, pool party stuff, like research, setting up lab experiments. doing interviews and all the interesting stuff that scientists have to do. That's how you get people to engage. Another person said, something that helped us take ownership of our learning was what we did outside of classes. We pushed each other at our university to be at our best, whether it was in the lab, the gym, or exams. We felt valued because we each valued each other. Yeah, that's when you get the right people, they'll push each other. They'll be engaged in their own life. You don't have to entice them to all these other frivolous activities. So there are more comments than that, but that's a few that added some information to this. So it comes back to, like I keep saying, okay, these administrators are going about all of this backwards. Okay, they're waiting until the process is already underway to try to fix something, when what they should be doing is addressing the problem from the start, so that when that is fixed, you don't have to worry about it the rest of the way. It's kind of like, you run a factory and you have your conveyor belt or whatever, and the machines are working on it, and you're constantly letting the initial materials get on the conveyor belt and go through several of the stages, and then it gets halfway down the assembly line, and you go, you know what, we should really fix and improve the how this piece is getting put together. Let's work on fixing that here. It's like, well, how about you fix it at the beginning, and then by the time it got to that halfway point, you don't have to worry about it because it's already on its way and it's doing great. Like, get the right materials first. Stop trying to change the materials halfway through the assembly line. And then if you have the right stuff, it'll take care of itself. It'll be the right product at the end. So these administrators who initiate all this stuff, they're looking at everything wrong, and it'll only get fixed, like I keep saying, if you go and recruit the right student. And I have a whole video about doing that. Go watch my retention video. Go watch my video about how students are not customers. I've talked about this for a while now, and yet we constantly have all these people who have, EDDs in administration or PhDs in administration, which is like, yeah, you're just trying to build a system when really it's about the materials. Okay. And because that's where faculty work with materials. We work with the ideas and the low level processes of how you get something started, because a research project has to start somewhere. So we're about starting stuff. These folks come in and go, well, we need a system to improve this thing. It's like, yeah, but you're ignoring the system that was flawed at the beginning. So fix that one first, and then you won't need all this engagement and retention stuff. Get the right students at your school. Stop accepting everybody. Stop chasing growth metrics. And if things grow naturally because your school is so awesome and excellent at its scholarship, at its extracurriculars like sports and the arts, it has awesome outside the classroom things that the professors are doing that kids want to be involved in, yeah, you won't need to be throwing pizza parties. You won't need to be having the frivolous, silly stuff to make kids feel engaged. They'll do it themselves. And that's the type of school I went to. And I'm saddened that there's so many schools that don't get it anymore. So if you want to fix your school, that's where to start. So it comes back to what I said at the top. This is all great. I'm glad this guy brought up this conversation. I support generally what he's saying. Again, he drifts towards cliche and platitudes, which I don't like. But I hope he has the guts to take it to his boss, whoever the VP of academics, the VP of enrollment, the president himself or herself, and say, hey, stop chasing numbers. Get the right kids here, and that will solve pretty much all the problems. And then any problems that do come up, we can just address those individually instead of having these systemic improvement plans on how to increase retention and engagement. Like, you're wasting your time with all that stuff. It's up to the kids. It's up to the school to find the right kids. It's up to the school to be the right place for those types of kids. And then you'll have a long-lasting relationship and you won't have to worry about constant engagement. So I appreciate this guy's post. Sounds like he's trying to make a shift here, and I support that, especially because, again, he's at a school that is similar to the one I went to. So for small schools especially, this can be done. You can narrow your applicant pool. You can get better students who are better fits for your school, and then you won't have to worry about this as much. So I applaud this guy's initial ideas. I just wish he would go further and take it to its logical extreme, because that's where we need to get if we're going to improve college education for students and their families. All right, that's it. Again, I'm sorry to repeat myself. It's just so important. This is my passion, that we get kids to the right schools for them, and we fix our schools so that they can actually be the right schools for those kids. And too often, the schools say one thing, and then the kids go, "Oh, okay, I guess that sounds good." And then they get there and like, "Yeah, that's not what this school is about. I don't like it here," and I leave. Or the kids aren't really that interested in education or a certain type of environment, and there's like, "Well, I need a degree, so I guess I'll go there." And then the school is trying to be that place, but the kid, they weren't the right fit anyway. They shouldn't have probably gone to that school, and yet you let them in, and so now you have to go through all these struggles, and it's a waste of money and time and people's energy. Whereas if you find the right kids, be the right school, you're an automatic match, and you'll have a great relationship. So like I said, sorry for repeating. Go watch my other videos. If you're brand new to this discussion, I've talked about this at length in my retention video, in my students aren't customers video. I talk about this in my administration videos. Like, this is not new. I'm screaming from the rooftops on this topic. Hopefully it catches on and other people follow suit. But that's it for today. See you next time.